Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Does Steffy's startling action make Finn wonder what her motivations are? Finn was shocked to find that Steffy Forrester defied Liam Spencer's desires on the CBS serial opera Bold and the Beautiful. Liam, who insisted she not inform anyone he was dying, was also irritated by her most recent action. However, she did, and Finn is not happy with his wife's response when he asks her about it. Steffy thus provides Finn a valid excuse to reconsider her plans for this week's B&B. She wasn't finished spreading the news, though, since Steffy then shares it with Taylor Hayes. However, Finn simply follows his wife's lead, acknowledging that she made the correct decision. Does he really mean that? Finn is unsure about Steffy Forrester's call to duty in Bold and the Beautiful. When she broke the terrible news of Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, death to Hope Logan, Annika Noel, on the Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, went into overdrive. Hope assured Steffy that she would keep Liam's terrible secret a secret. However, that lasted for roughly 5 minutes before Hope welcomed Liam to return to her home. Liam quickly realized that Hope was unable to control her feelings. Hope didn't deny it when he asked if Steffy had told her. The fact that Steffy had broken her word infuriated Liam. Hope, however, defended her, arguing that she was entitled to know. Nevertheless, Liam seems uneasy about the treachery. Liam was shaken by Steffy's broken commitment, and Finn, Tanner Novlin, appeared to be irritated as well. Steffy remained steadfast in her belief that Hope has a legitimate curiosity. Even if most fans concur with her, many still believed that Liam should inform Hope when he was ready. Finn did the same. Early May 19th to 23rd spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Hope supports her man and attacks her ex. B&B, Steffy adopts a firm position. On Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester arrives home to discover Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, and Finn there after breaking the bad news to Hope. Steffy immediately took charge when Finn got the issue under control. She informed Luna that she was not welcome there and that she would never be in a relationship with Finn, exactly as Finn had just stated. Steffy took control once more, just as she had done with Liam when she revealed his secret to Hope. Spoilers for Steffy Forrester and John Finnegan, who plays Finn on Bold and the Beautiful. During her conversation with Finn on Bold and Beautiful this week, Steffy did not apologize for this. Finn wasn't thrilled that Steffy did this, even though he recognized that Hope, as the mother of his kid, had a right to know. However, he reassured her that Liam would probably move on quickly if he was upset. The brave and the lovely, does Finn see the wider picture? For a long time, Finn didn't appear to realize that Steffy Forrester was at the forefront of who he could and couldn't see, but Bold and the Beautiful viewers did. The wonderful doctor essentially adopted Steffy's family lifestyle. This includes being unable to see Sheila Carter, his birth mother. And now, Finn, who was previously on Bold and Beautiful, was burdened by the most recent requests that he not have a relationship with his insane daughter Luna. Finn might interpret Steffy's return home and her statement that she informed Hope about Liam's death sentence as just another instance of Steffy assuming control and disregarding Liam's feelings. Similarly, Steffy Forrester shows little consideration for Finn's feelings when she prohibits him from having any contact with his mother or daughter. Steffy's advice to Finn seems to be to simply don't do it. Steffy takes charge at B&B. Fans of Bold and the Beautiful recognize that Steffy had a valid motive for all of these actions, including telling Hope and prohibiting Finn's mother-daughter connections. It has been more like controlling Finn's universe thus far, and now Liam is losing control over who gets to decide his destiny. May 12th to 23rd Bold and the Beautiful 2-week spoilers, Carter crushed, Taylor certain, and Finn torn. This is far from over for Finn, though, as Luna is now banging on his door. Will Steffy Forrester help him see the wider picture? People's lives are altered by her craving for control. As she did at Forrester Creations with Hope Logan. Hope disregarded Steffy's advice to avoid interaction with Finn. Steffy, at least, believed she didn't. And this rage persisted until the takeover, which ultimately provided Steffy with a convincing reason to fire Hope. However, despite her relationship with Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, Steffy made every effort to make Hope's life miserable. She exerted every effort to prevent her brother from seeing Hope. Thus, from the moment he acquired Steffy's romantic interest, Finn absorbed everything. But perhaps now that Steffy went behind Liam's back and ignored his sentiments, the picture is finally taking shape for Finn. Perhaps this is where Finn will begin to argue with Steffy Forrester about how he wants things to be, rather than just as she thinks they should be on the CBS serial opera. Steffy is once again behaving selfishly. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, she may be acting in her family's best interests, or she may just be acting selfishly once more. Steffy is behaving selfishly once more. Naturally, we're referring to Steffy Forrester because she frequently appears to forget that she and her husband, Finn, share a home. In the most recent episode of the popular CBS soap opera, Steffy made the demand that Luna vacate their home right away. However, Steffy failed to consider that Finn owns the house and that the attractive doctor is also Luna's biological father. However, Steffy has made it apparent that she does not want to interact with Luna, and that Finn should also avoid her, regardless of his likely feelings. However, Steffy's feelings for Luna are quite legitimate. The young woman did, in fact, kidnap her stepmother and intended to kill her. Fans of B&B, however, are sick of Steffy and her moralistic outlook. The stunning brunette would still look for an excuse to exclude Luna from her house even if she didn't attempt to murder Steffy. Is Finn ever going to take a stand? When someone else in the room happens to be receiving more attention than Steffy, that's the one thing she can't stand, isn't it? Once again, it appears to be the case. However, it is still to be determined if Steffy's husband Finn will truly defend himself. Taylor's discovery, Daphne's prediction, and Carter's overhearing. Finally, the Thursday, May 15, 2025, episode of The Bold and the Beautiful recap is available. Hope Logan and Liam Spencer are overheard by Carter Walton in today's episode. Taylor Hayes receives the truth from Steffy Forrester Finnegan. Daphne Rose also predicts something regarding Lope. The tenacity of Carter Walton. Carter attempts to concentrate on his work at Forrester Creations, but he can't help but think of Hope. Daphne cuts in. The nose assumes Carter had Hope on his mind. She is questioned by the COO regarding the meeting later today. According to the perfumer, she has a busy life outside of work. When Carter inquires about how things are going, Daphne promptly responds. The nose fears that Hope will bring Carter to an even greater demise. The nose explains that she asked staff members at Forrester Creations questions. She is aware of Hope's past relationships with males. Desperate, Daphne, as if you were any better. Carter claims to have an ugly past as well and supports Hope. Read more, discover the events of the most recent B&B episode. Daphne inquires as to whether he is speaking of Quinn Fuller. Carter claims that he has betrayed Eric Forrester twice and that he has no right to condemn Hope or anybody else. According to Daphne, Hope is not the lady Carter believes her to be. Daphne advises Carter to shield his heart during their argument. According to Daphne, Lope will get back together. Carter becomes irate and insists on harder. Daphne stands there, her mouth agape, as Carter stomps out of the office. Spencer Liam deteriorates. Hope and Liam break off their embrace. There is yet hope, perhaps the physicians will discover a cure. Hope promises to support him at every turn. When Hope says those words, her eyes are filled with a steely, furious determination. Liam and Hope are standing and conversing. Liam is suddenly hit by a terrible headache, which causes him to collapse on the ground, gripping his head. Hope is worried. Hope brings Liam a drink of water while he sits on the couch. Liam didn't intend to frighten her. Liam acknowledges that the instances are becoming more common. Liam refuses to go to the hospital when Hope tries to take him there. They are powerless to do anything. Hope is the finest medication for Liam, therefore he wants to just stay there with her. He just wants to sit there and remember, even if he appreciates Hope's compassion for him. They discuss their triumphs over adversity and happy recollections. If this is what will make Liam happy, Hope concurs. A number of flashback scenes are shown. Liam then begins discussing his admiration for Beth Spencer, Jordan Lynn Ariza, and Hope. Carter approaches the door, which is ajar a little. Peering in, Carter hears Liam discussing their small family. Liam encourages Hope to leave Carter while he keeps listening in. Incredulous, the COO smiles a little. When Hope states that she wants to spend every moment with Liam, his smile disappears. Taylor Hayes finding. Steffy and John Finnegan discuss how Hope must act as though she is unaware that Liam is dying. Steffy worried that Liam will be angry with her and questions her choice. Finn makes an effort to comfort his wife. Since his loved ones would want to be there for him, Steffy wishes Liam will just let them in. Finn raises this, particularly as Liam gets worse. Steffy is concerned because Finn believes Liam is getting worse. The doctor promptly clarifies that it is impossible to predict Liam's lifespan. Unpredictable and intermittent tumors are possible. But they are thankful that Liam is living each day to the fullest. Taylor cuts in. When Steffy wipes away her tears, her mother sees. Taylor is curious about what's happening. Taylor presses Steffy, who says she's fine. The children are doing well. Is it about Luna Nozawa? Asks Taylor. Although the murderer did appear, Steffy is not bothered by it. When something is amiss, Taylor is aware of it. Steffy vowed not to reveal. Taylor claims that Steffy can tell her anything because she is her mother. Steffy turns to face Finn, who appears to reassure her that everything will be alright. According to Steffy, it's Liam. The news is unbelievable to Taylor. About Supermom Steffy, Finn is ecstatic. Finn affirms that the tumor cannot be removed. Taylor inquires about clinical trials or experimental therapies. Liam's team is the best, according to Finn, and they're not giving up. Steffy sobs. Taylor is urged by Steffy to be silent, particularly toward Ridge Forrester. While agreeing, Taylor wonders if Liam would benefit more from secrecy. Steffy consents and admits to keeping the truth from Hope behind Liam's back. As Finn looks through his text messages, Taylor reassures Steffy that she made the correct decision. As Steffy discusses Kelly Spencer and Beth losing their father, her voice cracks. As Liam's symptoms worsen, Hope panics. As Liam Spencer's symptoms deteriorated and Steffy Forrester told Taylor Hayes what Liam was up against, Hope Logan became anxious, according to The Bold and the Beautiful. When Taylor broke up an emotional chat between Steffy and John Finnegan at the Cliff home, she knew something wasn't right. Following Taylor's updates regarding Luna Nozawa's, Lisa Yamada, unwanted visit, Steffy also revealed the entire embarrassing Liam incident off character. Taylor was devastated for Liam's girls and all of his other loved ones after learning that Steffy had told Hope the truth. Daphne Rose encouraged Carter Walton to shield himself from further Hope-related suffering and discussed the need to locate a new home with him, while Taylor provided support to Steffy. Daphne made fun of Hope's past relationships with males in the design office and pretended that Carter would just get wounded once more. Carter stomped off, determined to establish his own future with Hope, despite Daphne's hints that Hope might return to Liam. On Thursday's B&B episode, Hope wasn't prepared to give up on finding a cure at Brooke Logan's house. Liam was moved by Hope's struggle for his life, but he didn't believe it. After a while, Liam felt a severe pain behind his eye and found it difficult to stand. As a result, Liam acknowledged that he was experiencing more frequent pains like this one and dizziness. Liam told Hope that it wouldn't help and that he was sorry for frightening her, but Hope freaked out and wanted to take him to the hospital. Following his recuperation on the couch, Liam invited Hope to accompany him on a trip down memory lane. As they attempted to concentrate on the good times, a flashback of adorable Hope and Liam moments occurred. Carter moved back to listen when he arrived and opened the door to see Liam and Hope there. Hope made it plain that she didn't want to pursue her future with Carter, despite Liam's encouragement. Carter eavesdropped outside and was left reeling as Hope pushed for a future with Liam instead, saying they would be together. Keep an eye out for all the drama that lies ahead as Carter will soon run back to Daphne with the news of his romantic disaster, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Really, Carter Walton had no intention of listening in. He had gone to the cabin with the goal of providing Hope with the stable, encouraging presence she needed amid the upheaval surrounding Liam's illness. However, he heard his name as he got closer to the slightly open door, and what happened next broke his heart. Hope sat next to Liam's hospital bed, her fingers entwined with his, wiping away the tear that was streaming down his pale cheek, her voice gentle and emotionally raw, just above a whisper. She whispered, even when I tried to convince myself otherwise, even when Carter gave me a chance at something easy and secure, you were always the one. Every phrase pierced Carter's chest like a knife as he froze, his breath seizing in his throat. It was always you, Liam. The floor slipped out from under him. The society he had meticulously attempted to construct with hope, a future that at last seemed attainable, had been a reassuring delusion. With a sense of calm desperation, he had adored her, thinking that his patience and constant presence would be sufficient. However, Liam's impending death had ripped off all of his masks in this unvarnished moment of reality. Hope's heart was with Liam, whether he died or not, and she was no longer confused. Hope's voice trembled as she continued, leaving Carter in startled stillness. A woman who is still in love with someone else is not worthy of Carter. Peace isn't love, but I believed I could choose it. Liam's voice broke then, barely audible. Avoid feeling bad. That was the last straw, I always knew you'd come back to me. With his heart racing and the sound of their confession replaying in his mind, Carter took a step back. He didn't wait for further information. The guy who had given Hope his entire being had just received his response, and it wasn't a kind one. His mind was racing as he came down the front stairs. Anger, heartache, shame, and incredulity. He had arrived to reassure Hope that he would always be there and to let her know she didn't have to deal with this alone. Rather, he left with the impression that he had little chance. As Hope cleaned her face and made unspoken vows she might not be able to keep, Liam struggled to stay conscious back at the hospital. When Steffy finally arrived, she discovered Carter in the parking lot, his jaw tensed and his fists clenched. Something was visible to her in his eyes, the unadulterated, unrefined destruction of a guy who had just lost hope in addition to love. Literally. Carter? Steffy softly called. He shook his head in her direction. Don't, he yelled in a tight, low voice. Did you not know? Everyone did. I was just, practical. A diversion. Steffy tried to reach out, but he backed back, his pride too hurt, his emotions too exposed. He was a stand-in for a guy who was already dying but somehow more alive in her heart than I ever was. With bitterness, he said, she's choosing him. Even right now. Not realizing that Hope, standing just behind the curtain inside, had noticed his silhouette through the glass and realized, too late, that she had been overheard, Carter climbed into his car and sped away. Her heart fell. The harsh reality of love has destroyed another life. What about Carter? He would have to decide if he was capable of falling in love again or if certain wounds were too deep to ever fully heal. When it comes to love, loyalty, and her unflinching faith in second chances, Brooke Logan Forrester has always been a woman of passion. However, Brooke's well-meaning interference in her daughter Hope's complex romantic relationships may have caused more harm than good, particularly in regards to Carter Walton. Brooke may have caused Carter to experience yet another heartbreak by pushing him in the direction of Hope and claiming that her daughter's emotions for him went beyond friendship. This may have been prevented if she had just allowed Hope and Carter to develop their connection naturally. The History of Romantic Idealism by Brooke. Grand romantic gestures and the idea that love overcomes all obstacles are nothing new to Brooke. A succession of epic love stories, some triumphant, some tragic, have characterized her own life. As a result, she frequently projects her own optimism onto other people, particularly her kids. She recognized promise rather than merely a friendship as she witnessed Carter and Hope becoming closer. Liam Spencer had continually failed to be a nice man, a compassionate man, someone stable and devoted. Carter was the ideal remedy for Hope's continuous relationship problems, in Brooke's opinion. But was Brooke seeing what she wanted to see, or was she seeing reality? The real feelings of Hope, difficult, not committed. There is no denying that Hope and Carter had a close and loving relationship. They respected one another, were emotionally close, and had a profound awareness of one another's suffering. Was that ever really love, though, or was it just a safe haven during her erratic relationship with Liam? No matter how many times Liam lets her down, Hope is always drawn back to him. She exhibited hesitancy and an unwillingness to completely let go of her past, even when she was with Carter. However, Brooke appeared to disregard these indicators. Rather, she persuaded Carter that Hope was prepared to put Liam behind her for good and that her feelings were sincere and developing. Was Carter treated fairly, though? Carter's precarious situation, an invitation to heartache. Carter has had enough life-altering emotional trauma. He became raw and disillusioned with love after his engagement to Quinn ended in betrayal. When Hope entered his life, she stood for something innocent, an opportunity at a love unadulterated by tricks or deceit. That hope was only strengthened by Brooke's assurances, which led him to think that perhaps this time would be different. In actuality, though, Hope was never quite outside of Liam's sphere of influence. Liam's presence or one of his lofty pronouncements threatened to yank her away each time Carter drew near. Brooke may have given him false confidence by insisting that Hope's love for Carter were genuine, which prepared him for yet another heartbreaking disappointment when Hope eventually faltered. Was Carter set up for failure by Brooke? Brooke might have unwittingly used Carter as a tool because she wanted to see Hope content and free from Liam's drama. Not because Carter wasn't deserving, but rather because Hope's heart was never quite his to take. She depicted a future that was never entirely within Hope's grasp. Fostering Carter's optimism, Brooke might have ignored the truth of Hope's loyalty to Liam. Despite Hope's own development, she has a long history with Liam. Carter was merely disappointed by Brooke's refusal to accept this. Hope had always been cautious with her heart, so it was overestimated that she was ready to move on. She might have been coerced into a relationship she wasn't totally committed to by Carter's encouragement to pursue her. Brooke, who has never been a huge fan of Liam, used Carter as a pawn in her anti-Liam campaign. Was her wish to see Hope with someone other than Liam, even if it meant ignoring Hope's actual feelings, a contributing factor in her drive for Carter? The repercussions: Carter experiences another broken heart. Carter will have to pick up the pieces once more if, or when, Hope finally falters and turns back to Liam. And because he was made to feel that Hope was fully committed to this love, it will hurt considerably more this time. Although Brooke's remarks might have given him the confidence to be vulnerable, they might have also prepared him for the most agonizing rejection he has ever experienced. In conclusion, well-meaning intentions can have negative effects. Brooke had the appropriate kind of heart. She wanted Carter and her daughter to be happy. However, she might have created an unsustainable dream by imposing her own desires onto their relationship, one that Carter will have to pay for when reality hits. Wishful thinking shouldn't be the foundation of love. Furthermore, if Hope's heart was never truly Carter's in the first place, Brooke's support might have condemned him to yet another heartbreaking loss that he didn't deserve. Hope is left reeling after yet another dramatic altercation with Steffy, and she realizes that her marriage might be in jeopardy. Hope is in full panic mode, and Liam, torn between his broken relationship with Hope and his past with Steffy, appears closer than ever to leaving. She's doing everything she can to remind Liam of their past love in an attempt to save what's left of their relationship. Will it be sufficient, though? Or has Liam decided on something already? Hope's final attempt to rekindle their love. Hope has forgiven Liam's indecisive behavior for years, but now the stakes seem different. Hope is aware that she is running out of time since Steffy is pressuring Liam to finally take a side, and Thomas's persistent presence is making everything more difficult. She will make a strong, heartfelt appeal to Liam in Thursday's episode, asking him to recall their past, their family, and the future they once envisioned. However, Liam is getting impatient. He is wondering if their love is resilient enough to withstand another crisis after years of back and forth. Although Liam's look is unreadable, Hope's desperation is evident as she holds on to the hope that he would stay. Is he really finished, or is there a glimmer of love that has to be reignited? Steffy's demand: will Liam finally take a side? Steffy is tired of Liam's lack of resolve. She's standing her ground after seeing the harm his waffling has done on Hope and their own co-parenting relationship. According to spoilers, Steffy gives Liam a clear choice: either he totally commits to Hope or he leaves. No more racing back and forth, no more in between. Liam is shocked by this encounter and is compelled to face the consequences of his behavior. There must be no room for doubt or Steffy's safety net if he chooses to stay with Hope. However, he might not return this time if he goes. Is Brooke's influence causing Hope to make another error? Ever the idealistic romantic, Brooke Logan is in Hope's ear, telling her to stand up for Liam. But is this the proper course of action? Brooke has a poor reputation for love counsel after supporting Hope's brief affair with Carter, which ended abruptly. Ignoring the destructive tendencies in Liam and Hope's relationship, some viewers are wondering if Brooke is once again leading Hope toward a disastrous reconciliation. Will it survive if Hope is successful in persuading Liam to stay? Or is she preparing herself for yet another heartache when he eventually falters once more? The shadow of Thomas is big. The presence of Thomas remains in the background even as Hope fights for Liam. His steadfast dedication to Hope has always been a source of conflict. Will Thomas finally have his opportunity if Liam leaves? Will Hope ever view Thomas as more than simply a last option if Liam leaves? Hope may be totally focused on preserving her marriage right now. What comes next? A turning point for Hope and Liam. High-stakes drama is expected in Thursday's episode as Hope makes her last stand. Will Liam give in to her passionate plea, or has Steffy's demand forced him to make a long-term choice? There is no doubt that, for better or worse, Lope's future will look very different by the conclusion of the day.